Hey everybody, got a 5th gen battle here against 44lvlc0. I've already had a battle against him, but it was 4th gen and we wanted to have a 5th gen battle. So let's get it started. And he is going to lead off with his Bronzong as I send out my Deoxys S. So I'm going to go for the Magic Coat straight away, predicting Hypnosis or Stealth Rocks. And he goes for the Gyro Ball. I was thinking that he predicted the Magic Coat, but he actually just wanted to see how much it did to the Deoxys S, because Gyro Ball's attack is based on the speed difference. Like, you know how Gyro Ball works. But I'm going to go for the Magic Coat again, predicting that he'd predict that I'd predict that, you know, whatever. So it misses anyway, so I just go for the Stealth Rocks, and he goes for the Gyro Ball again, and I'm going to go for the Spikes, and he explodes. So here you'll see he gets a crit explosion, and that screwed me over so much. Like, you have no idea how much that crit really just cost me, and I'll explain later why it did. So I go for my Ditto on the double down, just because I think I'd get like switch advantage or something like that, and I'm going to go into, he goes into Flygon, so I use my Imposter ability and transform into it. He predicts an Outrage, so I was thinking I should go for an Earthquake, but then I realized that it was early game and U-turn was probably safer anyway. So I just went for the U-turn, and yeah, so he goes into Heatran, and I go into my Rush, and the close combat was really obvious. I should have Flare Blitz here. But again, early game, you don't want to over-predict because it can really cost you. So I know that I can switch out whatever because there are no entry hazards, so it won't really cost me. So he goes into this Dusk Noir, the same Dusk Noir that caused me so much trouble in my last video against him, caused me same amount of trouble in this video. So this Terrakion, I accidentally made it level 12 instead of level 100, and that's also going to have a huge effect on the outcome of the battle. So I go into my Latios here, and I'm going to go for the Draco Meteor because I'm actually a Scarfed Latios, and you'll see later why my Scarf is so important. So I go for the Draco Meteor again, and he's just going to Pain Split here and Protect Stall me, just like he did in my last video with my Heatran. He's doing the same thing with the Latios. That's really annoying. So, nothing against you, just it's a really annoying strategy, and I'm probably gonna kill you in your sleep. No, just kidding. So I go into my Rush, and he protects, and I know that he's going to, he's going to protect again since the last one failed, and I'm going to go for the Flare Blitz here. So I know that he is going to think that I'm going to go for another one, and he's going to go into his Heatran, and that's why I go back into my Latios here, and because I am Scarfed, I'm going to be able to outspeed this Heatran. Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves here. He goes there, and this stuff happens, and he's getting hurt by entry hazards, and I go for the Surf. So, pretty much send a Tidal Wave to his face. That kind of hurts, and he's going to faint. So, out comes this, Flygon. And since I'm locked into Surf, I can't go for the Draco Meteor. So I go into my Cresselia to just completely wall that, but he actually predicts that and goes for the U-turn, which is pretty nice on his job. So he gets a crit here, which is why that U-turn did so much. And I think he brings in this Tyranitar. And I'm going to go for the Toxic because I think I can live a Crunch. And his Sandstream comes up, which actually really sucks because now my Moonlight will only heal 1/4 of my HP as opposed to 1/2. So I go for the Toxic, and that's going to be nice to whittle down his Tyranitar, who I think is Choice Banded. Pretty sure it's Choice Banded, but oh no, Steam is popping up. Oh, nope. Okay. So Sandstorm, buffeting. That seems sort of weird how people get buffeted by a Sandstorm. But regardless, I go for the Moonlight, sort of trying to stall him with a Toxic and stuff. Little does he know that he's actually dealing more damage than I can recover. So he thought that it was just nothing was happening and he was just going to die to Toxic. But if he kept going for the Pursuit, I would have actually died the next turn. So I nearly go for a Toxic predicting the switch, and I probably should have, but I just go for the Moonlight again as he brings in his Flygon. And what happened was he didn't see that the first U-turn was a crit, so he thought that if he went for U-turn, it would kill off my Cresselia. But he goes for the U-turn here, and it doesn't crit, and thus it does not kill me. So let's wait for that to happen. And that happens. Surprise, surprise. And I go for the Ice Beam, just because I thought maybe he'd go for something else, and then I'd be able to hit it with an Ice Beam. I don't know. I don't really know what I was thinking. But he goes into Revenge, and this is his Terrakion, which is level 100, which might have been a help to me, maybe. So he goes for the Close Combat to finish me off, and guess who I'm gonna bring in? Just take a wild guess. If you guessed Ditto, then you were correct. Oh, I just faked myself out. What? Oh. Okay, this video was not that long ago. I shouldn't have said that. But I go for the Psycho Shock here, and he predicts that goes into his Tyranitar. I should have gone for the Surf because I already but he already knew that I had Surf. So here I fake the Scarf. I've been faking the Scarf for this whole game, and I go for the Draco Meteor. Actually, if you check out his narration, he thinks that it's Specs because he doesn't really have that many fast Pokemon on his team, aside from Flygon and Terrakion, who are both Scarfed. So now that he knows that he can outspeed, he's going to go for the U-turn and actually kill off my Gladios. Now, he's going to go back, and he's going to send out his Terrakion. Yes, and this is where I go into Ditto. And I know that he's going to predict my Close Combat and go into Dark Fiend, so I'm going to go for the safe Earthquake, which will hit his Terrakion as well as his Dark Fiend. So that was my thought process there. And he was thinking of going into Flygon, but I guess he didn't. So I just go for the Earthquake. And it doesn't do that much because that Dusknoir is such a beast. And so what happens here? I think that he's going to Protect instead of switching into his Flygon. And that's why I go for the Earthquake again. I really should have switched. I really should have. That also was one of the main factors in the deciding of the game. So I go into Rush for Death Fodder. This was actually a Banded Ape. It's proved to be pretty good in some of my other battles. You maybe see some of this team coming up. This is actually the first game I've had with this team. That's why I'm not predicting too well. But I go back into Ditto, and here's where things get really just... I don't know how to describe it aside from epic. I mean, I know that word is overused, but here's where it just gets epic. So I go for the Outrage, and he's actually Scarf, so he's going to go for the Earthquake, but just fodder off his Flygon. And then out comes Revenge, and he outspeeds me because he's Scarfed. And now he goes for the Close Combat, and my HP is going down, and I live it with 12. So I'll go for the Outrage again. It takes out the Terrakion, and now it's my Flygon with 12 HP versus his Dark Fiend with like 20 HP. And if I had the second layer of spikes, this Dark Fiend would have died because he's already come in 3 times. The first time didn't really matter, but the second 2 times did matter. And if there were 2 more spike damages on that guy, he would have been dead. And also from the Sandstorm and stuff, because Sandstorm affects you before leftovers. So he's going to Protect twice in a row, and I'm going to be confused. And it's all this 50-50 chance whether I hit myself in confusion or not. So I mean, this game pretty much just came down to stupid little things that I did. Well, not that I did, but like stupid little hacks plus the miss at Terrakion. Like that Bronzong crit cost me. Also, the hit myself in confusion cost me. And also my mispredictions cost me. So, I don't know, just, it was sort of annoying how the end result of the battle turned out. But, I mean, it was still a great game. It came down to the last move. And I'm just gonna draw a frowny face in Microsoft Paint here because I was so close. Like, I was ridiculously close.